Let me start with a truth that might hurt. When someone becomes emotionally attached, they don't always become softer. Sometimes they become smaller. Sometimes they start doing things they promised themselves they would never do. And if you've ever felt confused, drained, or quietly broken because of someone you care about, this isn't a video to judge her. This is a video to understand her. And maybe to understand yourself. Because emotional attachment doesn't just change how you love. It changes how you think. It changes how you behave. And sometimes it makes you betray your own dignity in silence. If you've ever waited for a message that never came, if you've ever explained someone's bad behavior better than they ever did, if you've ever lost sleep over someone who slept peacefully without you, then listen carefully. Because this is about you. Picture this. It's late at night. Your phone lights up, but it's not them. Your heart drops anyway. You reread the last message you sent. Was I too much? Was I too cold? Should I have said it differently? You tell yourself you're strong. You tell yourself you don't care that much. But somehow, their silence feels louder than anyone else's words. You start checking their online status without realizing it. You notice the small changes, shorter replies, less effort, less warmth. And instead of walking away, you lean in. That's what emotional attachment does. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It slowly convinces you that love means endurance, that patience means self-erasure, and that loyalty means suffering quietly. And that's where the danger begins. So today, I'm not here to shame. I'm here to decode. Because when she becomes emotionally attached, there are patterns not because she's weak, but because her heart is fighting her logic. Today, I'm going to share 5 dirty things she does when she's emotionally attached behaviors that feel like love on the surface, but slowly destroy her from the inside. And if you recognize yourself in even one of these, this video might change how you love forever. Let me tell you a small story. She notices he's pulling away, so she sends a long message. Not once, but again and again. She explains how she feels, why she feels that way, what she didn't mean, what she hopes for, what she fears. Paragraphs, voice notes, clarifications. But here's the psychological truth. When someone truly cares, explanations aren't required. Over-explaining is a trauma response. It comes from a fear of abandonment. Psychology calls this anxious attachment behavior, where the mind believes, if I explain myself perfectly, I won't be left. But love doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Say how you feel once, clearly, calmly, and then watch their response, not their words, but their effort. Because someone who wants to understand you won't need a speech. One day he's warm. The next day he's cold. One day he's all in. The next day he disappears. And instead of walking away, she adapts. She lowers her expectations. She tells herself, he's just busy. He's going through something. This is just how relationships are. No, this is emotional conditioning. The brain releases dopamine during unpredictable rewards. In simple words, inconsistency becomes addictive. That's why emotional attachment makes her confuse chaos with chemistry. But consistency is not boring. Consistency is safe. Stop romanticizing emotional confusion. If someone can't show up regularly, they don't deserve regular access to your heart. She feels disrespected, but she stays quiet. She feels hurt, but she smiles. She's afraid that if she speaks up, she'll lose him, so she shrinks. Psychology calls this self-abandonment when you betray your own needs to maintain connection. But listen to me carefully. Love that requires silence is not love. It's fear dressed as affection. Every time she ignores her boundaries, she teaches him how to treat her. Discomfort is not the enemy. Disrespect is. Speak once, firmly, calmly, and if they leave because of your boundaries, they were never meant to stay. She gives emotional support, late-night talks, motivation, validation. She becomes his safe space while having none of her own. He vents, she listens, he disappears, she waits. This is called emotional labor imbalance. Attachment tricks her into believing, if I give more, he'll choose me. But emotional availability without commitment creates emotional exhaustion. Stop auditioning for love. Reciprocity is the minimum requirement, not a bonus. If someone enjoys your emotional energy without offering security, they're feeding, not building. This is the most painful one. She changes herself, her tone, her interests, her availability. She becomes smaller, quieter, more agreeable, not because she wants to, but because she's afraid to be too much. This is identity erosion, a slow loss of self caused by emotional overattachment. But here's the truth no one told her. You don't lose people by being yourself. You lose people by pretending. Return to who you were before the attachment. Your hobbies, your confidence, your standards. The right person doesn't ask you to disappear. They recognize you. Now listen to me. Emotional attachment is not weakness. It means you feel deeply, and that is powerful. But power without direction becomes self-destruction. You don't need to love less. You need to love wiser. Their distance does not mean you are unworthy. Their silence does not mean you are replaceable. Their inconsistency does not mean you should try harder. You were never meant to beg for love. You were meant to receive it. Let's quickly revisit what we uncovered today. She over-explains instead of observing actions. She normalizes inconsistency. She sacrifices boundaries for comfort. She gives emotionally without receiving security. She loses herself trying to be enough. Awareness is the first step to healing. And I'll leave you with this. If you ever feel like you have to shrink to be loved, walk away. Because real love doesn't make you anxious. It doesn't confuse you. And it never asks you to betray yourself. The moment you choose yourself is the moment everything begins to change. If this video spoke to your heart, if it made you feel seen, understood, or stronger, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Decoded Thoughts. Your support helps us reach more souls who need these words. Thank you for being here. To understand this even deeper, listen to one more hard truth. When you become emotionally attached, you're not just connecting to a person, you're attaching your hopes, your imagined future, and your unspoken dreams to them. You start mistaking small moments of attention for love, and you begin excusing big moments of neglect. Slowly, you measure your worth by their mood, their replies, and their behavior. Without realizing it, your happiness is no longer in your own hands, it's placed in someone else's control. But here is what you must remember. Someone who truly cares about you will not confuse you. They will not keep you anxious or make you feel like you are never enough. Real connection brings clarity, not insecurity. Your job is not to convince anyone that you are worthy of love you already are. Do not dim your light for someone who cannot see your value. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is step back quietly, without arguments, without explanations, and without anger, just with self-respect. Because the moment you choose yourself is the moment life starts guiding the right people toward you. Let's quickly revisit what we uncovered today. She over-explains instead of observing actions. She normalizes inconsistency. She sacrifices boundaries for comfort. She gives emotionally without receiving security. She loses herself trying to be enough. Awareness is the first step to healing. And I'll leave you with this. If you ever feel like you have to shrink to be loved, walk away. Because real love doesn't make you anxious. It doesn't confuse you. And it never asks you to betray yourself. The moment you choose yourself is the moment everything begins to change. If this video spoke to your heart, if it made you feel seen, understood, or stronger, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Decoded Thoughts. Your support helps us reach more souls who need these words. Thank you for being here.